evening and welcome to another edition of Pretend Football Now. My name is Syke Manders and with me as always is Maul Padiros. Maul, we have a lot of important things to cover this week.
Absolutely. There have been so many extreme developments in Pretend Football that this is going to be a slightly more serious episode than you may be used to.
Absolutely. You know that we like lighter fare. We like to deliver you the good news. Well, today, we're going to be hitting you with some absolutely crushing journalistic truth. So, without further ado, let's get started.
PFN viewers, it's time that we all sit down and discuss what I think we can all agree is the single biggest issue facing pretend sports, nay, our nation today. We here at PSBN can no longer sit idly by and allow such travesty to continue unchecked. When the haves continue to oppress the have-nots, as we continue to see, truly, it disgusts us all. And worse still, if we, the proud pretend pugilists that we are, don't take action to make things better, then I fear that our league, our nation, perhaps even our world, will suffer the consequences. So allow me to be the first pretend broadcaster to take a knee in protest of the Catskill Cleavers and their treatment of every other team in the NJCFFL this season. This week's unwitting victim, the Cooter Institute Beavers, who fought valiantly, scoring more points than all but 3 other teams this week, with huge performances from Minnesotans Stefon Diggs and Dalvin Cook, scoring 35 and 24.5 points, respectively, while Dak Prescott's 22 points on Monday night was a revelation. A virtually perfect lineup wasted in the hack and slash of the Cleavers. Coach Pfeiffer's squad, which features the 2 highest scoring players this season in Kareem Hunt and Tom Brady, was nothing short of miraculous. Not only did Hunt and Brady score 26.5 and 37 points respectively, but Doug Baldwin racked up 23, upstart Tariq Cohen added 11, and somehow good Jaguars defense scored another 15. It's time, ladies and gentlemen. Now is our moment. We cannot sit idly by in the face of hard-hitting reality that Coach Joe Pfeiffer is dominating all those around him. We cannot allow the menace from the North continue to dominate his competition unchecked. Who among us will stand up to this great injustice? Next up to attempt what thus far has been impossible is Giggity Giggity and the Shartsville Gravy Legs, while the Beavers face off against the Not Very Goods and the Gravy Legs as well.
Dear viewers, if you're expecting a political slant from your good pal Syke, let me dash your hopes. The scalpel cuts both left, center, and right. In a case perfect for the Bench Blues, Team Giggity Giggity saw their hopes for victory groan away from the throats of hundreds of fans at Adam West Memorial Stadium in a contentious $30 bullet magnet division matchup against the much-maligned Luxacs, 99-76. The wee lads of the Luxacs were led to victory by Chris Thompson's crushing rush attack for 29 points, with Odell "I'ma pee on you" Beckham, his 23.5 points, adding to the solid performance of Tyreek Hill and the Kansas City Chiefs defense. This marks a change in the Luxacs' favor. Have they discovered the pot of gold that lies under Biffin's bridge? Or, well, I mean, I guess the front, really. Well, I mean, when you account for the balls. Yeah, when you account for the balls, it'd be the front. Well, Team Giggity Giggity was terrorized, traumatized, tenderized, and finally teabagged. Standout performances by A.J. Green, Leonard Fournette, and Team Mensa member Alex Smith were completely eclipsed by the full ensemble of the Bench Blues, which howled into town blind boy lemon style. Let's see here. We've got Deshaun Kaiser, 21 points. Sammy Watkins, 27 points. And Sterling Shepard, 24.5 points. These points were scored, but they were not in play. Truly, the Pine was on fire at Adam West Stadium, leaving Coach Shooter feeling like the boy blunder. Well, the Luxacs are on the road next week to Dobbs Ferry to face off against the Federalists, and a home game at the Leprechaun Patch against Dan the Beast Swanson and his not very goods. Team Giggity seeks to avoid another painful home loss at the hands of the Pine Lake Park Tombstones, and then they travel to the darkness of the Catskills to face the so far invincible Cleavers. Oh boy, I'll tell you, Maul, this week goes to illustrate that tiny little mistakes or giant game-losing mistakes can happen to anybody when the guitar comes out and you start moaning them bench blues.
Yeah, it's absolutely the case. I mean, sometimes everything goes right for your team, and sometimes it's just god-awful. Take, for example, the Lip Smackin' Flapjacks. They left Duke Johnson in 19 points, T.Y. Hilton 26.5, and Demarius Thomas is 12 points on the bench. Coach John Crawford cannot be excited about that performance. In fact, it cost him at least one victory this week.
At least definitely. The Flapjacks just have been very lackluster, making all sorts of really poor decisions. I'm wondering if maybe he's got a touch of them blues.
I think he might.
Well, let me tell you who else is going to be singing the blues, and that is going to be Team Giggity. Team Giggity, they've been drinking the bone-hurting juice. Oof, my bones. Oh, ouch, my bones. Yeah. My bone. Let me just. We've covered this in Psych Scalpel. We cut it open. You guys know. 97 points.
It just has to be maybe the most stunningly awful performance of team management in the history of all things, and this from a former champion.
It blows the mind.
He truly must be singing the blues.
I would imagine so.
And also, we have the Shartsville Gravy Legs. Coach Mike Cooter, he looked pretty impressive so far early this season, but he had a real bad case of the bench blues. This week, leaving 62.5 points on the bench. Richard Matthews with 17 big points. Ooh. The Detroit Lion defense would have added 11 points to his bottom line. And Joe Mixon is 10.5, and Marcus Mariota would have had 19. Any of these players would have helped him to a victory. And remind you, he left Kelvin Benjamin and Mike Gillislee, two players that he traded for earlier in the season in his starting lineup. They accounted for only 3 points.
That's just about a haystack high, as we say in the country.
That's all you got to do. Sometimes you just get stuck with the bench blues.
Maul, it's been a lot of mistakes already made in this only week 3 of a grueling season. The trail of tears that lead to the playoffs that's going to stricken many with so much depression and an even greater climb to the championship. So I think this week is going to be a particularly poignant word. So, Maul?
It's what we all want. Justice.
Justice. From all of us here at PSBN Studios, this has been Pretend Football. Now. It's a long road to those playoffs. It's a longer road to that championship game. So let's get your word of the week.
I forgot what it was.
Oh no! Justice.
I literally was sitting there and I was like,